10 years in the making, the Huntington opens the Garden of Flowing Fragrance to the public. Stay tuned for a glimpse into this authentic Chinese garden right in our own backyard. With the first of 4 phases complete, the Huntington opens its Garden of Flowing Fragrance with a spectacular display of Chinese culture.
This garden took a long time to come to fruition. I think the whole conception started in the late 80s. So if you think about that, it took about 20 years.
The garden is more than a typical display of nature. Within, there are many different features that make it so unique.
The Chinese garden is not really just a botanical garden. It is a cultural expression.
Plants are an important part of this garden, and one of the themes of the garden is Asian plants. So as you walk around the garden proper here, most of the plants will have their origins from China.
We brought over 850 tons of rocks from Lake Tai, an area that is very famous for their garden rocks. Rocks and water are 2 very important elements.
There are many details to the garden, and in construction, many of the materials were shipped from China itself.
This whole garden was almost created in Suzhou, China.
There's a great large team of people, 1 team in China and 1 team in the U.S., and the team includes engineers, architects, botanists, horticulturalists, art historians.
The wood carvings that we have right behind me and right in front of us, they did all the rock work around the lake.
It took us a lot of collaborative efforts.
Construction of the garden was a long and difficult process, and they had to overcome a few obstacles along the way.
The seismic code is very important here in Southern California, and we had to deal with that, and that was a big issue.
We had to have a steel framework underneath all these buildings because they're extremely heavy. The roofs are tile, and they are thick. So therefore, they could not just stand a wooden post in California.
In this kind of difficult situation, it was wonderful that we kind of rose above it all and produced something very special and innovative.
When construction first began, the Huntington had big plans for the garden that go far beyond this first phase.
The first phase is this entry complex and these southern buildings, because these are the closest thing within the center of the garden, and the second phase would be the buildings around the other side where we can get to from the back, because we've got another 40 acres back there that aren't built up. And so the first phase was these buildings and the ponds, so we'd have all that in place, and then the next phase needs to respond to that.
The Huntington can officially declare their Garden of Flowing Fragrance a success, and even if they do not continue through phase 4 of construction, it was still a spectacular opening.